Welcome, everybody, to the 3 Dot podcast featuring 1 Dot, DBuster. That is me. I'm having my little solo episode. You've noticed that we're each going to have our own solo episode, and this is mine. We're trying to keep this momentum going. So whether or not we cannot record, we want to film something. As you know, we're all busy in our own way. We're all doing our own things. This is kind of a thing we do to keep our creative outlet going. So, and today I kind of want to focus on something that I'm constantly thinking about, and it is the future. Not flying cars, not hoverboards, not Back to the Future, although I do like Back to the Future, the movie. But it's within the realm of entertainment, technology, things that I see myself getting into or want to happen. And we will have Chaotic here, who is currently not mic'd up, but will somehow get involved. We'll figure something out. He'll figure it out. But that's kind of the idea of it. And like we talk about, self-driving cars, and we've seen Waymo, and I've been listening to a few podcasts about all of that. And I guess this is the time when we had the whole Mark Rober controversy thing about self-driving cars and LiDAR and things like that, which is interesting. And I looked into that. I think self-driving cars, and this is my take on it, some of y'all might not agree with it, but I think self-driving cars is the future. And I think that it would eventually make life easier because it takes the human element out, and a lot of the errors come from the human element. And that is an interesting take. I know a lot of people enjoy driving. I know a lot of people like, getting behind the wheel, fixing up an engine, making the car look nice and all of that. And having a car that self-drives kind of removes yourself from that element. And a lot of people just like to be in tune with their car. I don't think that's going to go away. I think that's always going to be a thing. I think that's going to lean more towards the hobbyist era. And self-driving cars, because of how efficient they can be, I don't think they're going to come out anytime soon, at least within my lifetime, or at least when I get to enjoy it. I think it's in a couple decades more, 2-3 decades more, and we'll have self-driving cars. And at that time, I probably won't be driving anymore. I'll be an old, wrinkly man that will probably need someone to drive me around when I want to get to places, and that's where it becomes convenient. But I want to get to enjoy it to a full extent, when you have drunk nights and you need a designated driver to do all that stuff. So the efficiency of it, I think it's really, like, imagine being able to talk to another person and relaying your thoughts while driving. I'm going to turn left here. Can I cut in? I'm not going to do this, then a third. I'm slowing down. There's a car in front of me that you don't necessarily see. So, I'm going to be braking soon. That kind of information, computers can talk to each other about that. And I think that makes self-driving cars more efficient. And I'm excited. I'm personally excited to see more of it. And I think that's something that would eventually, hopefully, comes to fruition. I don't think by Tesla. It really depends with Tesla, and you can get to the politics of it, but I don't want to. By Tesla or Waymo or Cruise or whatever's coming up, self-driving cars is a thing. And with BYD in China, if you want to look into their markets of electric cars and their evolution of that, because they hit the market fast, and Tesla was the leading in car sales and electric and innovation. I think China is just getting real close to that. And yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. And with self-driving cars, and I'm excited to see that. Flying cars, I don't trust people already behind the wheel. That may be the next frontier in driving, is flying cars. I think if you can think it, you can make it, but not within my lifetime. Other things that I really hope gets better, and this is interesting, and then this is the first topic I wanted to talk to in the first place, which is video games. I like video games. I enjoy them. I think AAA video games, as of right now, are on a landslide. They're not hitting when we thought they were gonna, when they should be exceeding, with all the money being spent into it, into marketing, developing the game, into the storytelling, all the money that's being spent into these AAA games, you don't see it hit often as much as, say, the indie developers. I was reading an article about video games and how indie developers are leading the way for video games currently. And I think due to the rise of AI, making coding a little more accessible, just artists really getting into these simple story-driven games that don't need groundbreaking gameplay. It really pushes that story forward about video games really being driven by these indie developers, and it's kind of going back to the idea of the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Doesn't have to be high graphics. It just has to be innovative, has to tell a good story, and, instead of spending billions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars on a AAA game, they're spending maybe hundreds of thousands. That's it. 500, like $500,000. I mean, these small teams, these very small teams that have a huge buyout, I can go back as, during the pandemic, Among Us, very small team, very simple idea, millions, great revenue. And then, not to say like AAA games are not a thing, but, you have a game called Repo that is currently popping off, and it is a little more polished, a little higher up there, but it is a smaller development team. Instead of like these higher end games like Midway or Blizzard or Sony PlayStation. I mean, Sony PlayStation has had a lot of hits. I think they're still within the realm of getting good story games out there. All right, this is part 2. Apologies. Looks like our storage ran out, and we actually hooked up a mic for Chaotic here.
Yep. Testing. I'm right here. So if you need to break the third wall, just chime right in right here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go back and forth now that we have a microphone on him. Let's go back a little bit before we start talking about video games. And I was listening to the audio a little bit. Midway is not a huge. It was, but it's not any longer. But self-driving cars. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's definitely getting to a point where it's like becoming more acceptable.
Yeah.
With, not to name drop any companies, but the biggest one right now is Waymo. And
Waymo, yeah.
I've driven it I've ridden in it a few times, and I mean, so far so good. Like the whole experience is like pretty flawless, and it gets you to where you need to be safely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan, so I don't know. Have you tried it?
I have tried it. I've ridden in Waymo before. It is interesting, and I think what they say with technology, it only gets better.
Yeah.
So I think my idea with self-driving cars is like, give it a little bit of time. I think more people will understand it. I think my thought processes in this is like, in every like major change in the human race, right? From the development of, like, let's say hunting gathering to, steam engines to all of that, there is a change in how we fundamentally do things as people. This is kind of getting into my philosophy and how like things, right? I think we are in a transition period in life where technology is being such a huge transition for all of us in terms of how we do things, how we perceive how the future is going to look like. It's like shit. Like when like when steam engines were made, right? You no longer have to push things through with horses and carriages. You get to carry more items through this train system that was developed, and things just got done more. Industries were made, vehicles, buildings. We would get the resources from other places and bring them in. It changed a lot. And I think currently we are in that state of where technology is moving at a pace where the way we live is no longer going to be the same in a few years. I think driving is going to be more of a hobbyist thing, sometime in the future, rather than something you need to do every day. I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think it's a little insane, and I don't know. I'm very pulled on the idea that what I'm comfortable with, and I always pull on nostalgia every now and then. We always go back to nostalgia about how things were, without cell phones, without other things, playing outside and all that. I think that is a product of the past, and I don't want to sound like I'm a futurist here because I do feel like attention span is going down. There are some negatives, with the rise of short form videos has really degraded attention spans and things like that. Like, you don't hear a lot of people really opening a book nowadays, and with the rise of AI, the curriculum and how school works, I feel like really has to change to adopt that, because that's not going anywhere. And I feel like everyone goes, oh yeah, you have to write an essay. Maybe 80+% of that essay is AI written. And I don't think it's going away. I think we have to adapt to it. I mean, that's kind of in the world we're in. We're adapting to the changes, and how can we use this to progress how we do things in life. And I don't know, technology it's crazy right now, and we are definitely
okay.
All right, part 3 of this. You didn't see it, but this is technically part 4, but this is part 3 because I'm not going to use the other take. This other one's really short. But I guess we were talking about technology, and I'm very optimistic about it. Some people are pessimistic about it, but I generally embrace technology. That's the long short of it. Driving cars, self-driving cars, AI, all that stuff. I think, just to put it in a nutshell, it's good. I like it. I think we just have to adapt to it, because right now we're in the phase of it being abused and being taken advantage of, and seeing as like, oh, it's not perfect yet. And I think give it more time, let it flesh out a little bit, and it'll improve. I also want to talk about video games, because I do enjoy video games, and I do enjoy playing them, watching them, reacting, watching streams of other people play them, because I don't want to play them myself, either because I don't have time to, or they look too hard, i.e. Elden Ring. I'm not a fan of Elden Ring games or Souls-like games, but I do enjoy people watching it and then the struggles they have. I think it's funny. I think it's enjoyable. I think I touched upon it on the first part of this, where I feel like video games now is leaning more on the indie side. I think indie developer indie developers are a lot more is where it's at in gaming right now. You don't need the high-end graphics. You don't need to see pores on the face. You don't need the higher polygon rates, the reflections on the waters, all of that. If you make a good game, great mechanics, wonderful story, beautiful lighting, just have the art design, you can go crazy with it, you can have yourself a really, really, really successful game. And I think that's where it's at with the indie developers, with the games. And I think the larger games developers have kind of lost touch on that. I know you're not a big gamer person, Ken. You're a hard worker, unlike my degen ass.
Yeah, I can't chime in here, so I wouldn't have a strong opinion here.
That's okay. But between Goose and Bugsy, I think they have their own games that they like. I think for the most part, there's only a handful of AAA games that I feel like are great. What about TV shows? You're a TV show person. What do you feel about the future of TV shows and storytelling?
I mean, it's getting pretty good. I wouldn't say there hasn't been too much advancement. It's just kind of like the show that I'm thinking of right now is Adolescence on Netflix. Very good show.
There's another game that currently everyone's kind of watching. Starts with an S. I forgot what it's called.
Silo? No.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I haven't. I've been hearing it, but I don't know what it's. Something like not Silo. Spectre. Someone's gonna correct me, but it is apparently a very good show. And I'm not too much of a show watcher. I feel like I'm very much a up and do things, but I will watch a good show every now and again. Like I'm a binger because I can get it done in like a day or two.
I highly recommend Adolescence on Netflix because all their episodes is in one take. It's nuts. Each episode is just like very intricately planned, one take. It shows the behind the scenes too, where it goes from like drone to like somebody grabbing the drone and just grabbing the camera and
no way
going through windows.
There's
and stuff.
Edits. There has to be edits.
No, it's crazy. Like it really feels like one of those cut scenes of a video game.
Yeah,
video games don't cut. It just keeps going.
You just roll with it.
It just feels like you're playing a game or something.
Adolescence.
How
many episodes?
5. I think 6 now, but
it's still coming out.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think 6 is where it's at, like total, but I don't know. It's good. You should check it out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of like advancements, I guess that could be considered that because they figured out how to do one takes very efficiently. And it does hold the attention of like whoever's watching. So it's a whole experience. It's awesome.
Okay. The thing that I think about with filmmaking is I think about this all the time is there's going to be a point where a story has been told so many times that I don't think you can tell it again in a different way. You know, we've got multiple stories or like multiple ways you can say Romeo and Juliet, you know, but like two people that just can't fall in love because whatever is keeping them apart, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I want to say that Adolescence like does tell stories a different way because it could be the same story, but
is it episodic or is it cohesive?
It's episodic, and it just keeps like one thing after the other. It's just very because that has to do with the writing too. Like if it's a one take, you also have to write it very good so that everything kind of makes sense. And
so
it's
nothing relates to each other. It's just all the episodes are just different.
Oh things. No! Sorry, it all You could watch it in order. Like it's,
okay.
But it's if we're talking about advancements in storytelling, they really put like a different view in storytelling. Like I think they could do this more with different series if they could nail down the one take part.
Yeah, dude, have you seen that one Netflix series where it's a heist and then you can watch it in any order and it'll change the way you view the movie?
I haven't seen that one.
That one awesome. Like all the episodes came out. I forgot what it was called, but it was like the episodes are like color coded. So there's blue, red, orange, gray, and then you can watch it in any order. And then it'll change how the story you perceive the story. And I'm all like, that's crazy. And I started it, but I never finished it.
Is it on Netflix also?
It's on Netflix. Okay. I forgot what it's called, but check it out. I do recommend it. And I think people are being creative due to streaming. I think streaming makes it a little more easier because it's the interactivity of streaming makes things more accessible. You know, before you need to shoot your shoot a pilot, and if a studio picks it up, they'll get X amount of episodes, and they air it in the show. I think with streaming, you can shoot it. I mean, you're still selling it to, something, but with like access to YouTube and things like that, you can get something out. I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I feel like videography and creating stories, you can definitely do it on your own. I think in terms you're not winning any Oscars, but I feel like you're going to gain an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we should know because it
we tried.
A lot. It takes a lot just to create a freaking
hell yeah,
5
dude.
minute
We
film.
hella tried. It does take a lot of production and a lot of time, and we still dabble in it a little. As you can see right here, we still have the equipment and the technology to do something, and I think we always have our creative outlet. I think we just need to redirect it with the amount of time we're given because we're all leaving our lives, things like that. Maybe technology will make it easier for us. See how we did the spinner over there? Shut the fuck up, dude. But yeah, technology, I think in general in the future, I'm very optimistic about it. In terms of, wireless earbuds before we have that wire that in the Walkmans to where we are now, things will generally get better. And a little piece of me is a little sad that I'm not going to be a part of all of that. I think the technology I have now is fun and it's entertaining, but I kind of want to see how it develops.
I think we will, because technology is like advancing pretty quickly.
It is.
We're about to see some craziness.
We're gonna get some hoverboards.
Oh yeah.
What's some technology that you if you could make it possible, would you make possible?
I think you said it right there, hoverboard. Like ever
Hoverboards?
since Back to the Future came out, it's like, oh, I've always wanted to just try it. Just
Hoverboards,
float
Dude,
around, don't go in water.
I've always wanted, at least, if we can make some kind of teleportation machine. That sounds sick. To be able to go anywhere around the world, I don't know how you can do it. This is probably gonna be monetized, but pay a fee, teleport to freaking Japan, and then just spend a day in Tokyo and teleport back. Dude, that sounds so sick to me.
Yeah.
Imagine. Can you just imagine? And then you can. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what. Like, be able to have a jetpack or something, so you can just fly locally and cars aren't needed. That'll be a crazy ass technology, or some kind of hologram like Star Wars. Start talking to each other.
I feel like we're almost there with the holograms.
I think, yeah, we're pushing it. I think with holograms, that might be the new thing. Like, you have a watch, right? Everything's on a watch. I have a smartwatch right here. And, you're talking to everyone, someone pops up. Be like, Wing! You're like, hello, what's going on? You're like, what the fuck? That sounds cool. Yeah, it's probably shoes that maybe never hurt your feet ever again. Can you, you can walk forever. Or if you want to get to the stupid ideas, imagine eating food and never having to poop.
I don't know how that would work. But I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why the Japanese people invented the bidet. You gotta clean it somehow.
You gotta clean that. You gotta clean it.
It has to come out. So
it has to come out. But I don't know. In my head, you can eat something that is also delicious that will get 100% dissolved in your body. There's no waste.
You just sweat it out. It has to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sweat is okay, but I don't know.
There's no waste that comes out of it, I don't know. Where my head's going with the future, I'm very much, I like the idea of advancements in technology, whether it's medicine or and all that stuff. I don't know too much about the medical field, but in terms of future usefulness, like phones, earbuds, headphones, entertainment, video games, graphics. As you can tell, I like technology. It's fun for me. And looking into it and how the future is getting worked, it's cool. I think, yeah, that's my piece on that. But that being said, I'm pretty much gonna wrap up here. I think if you have any ideas of what technology is, or if you like technology or you don't like technology and want things to slow down, please leave a comment, talk to us, let us know. We do have our social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. So hit us up there with the 3 Dot Podcast. My name is DBuster, and obviously.
And I'm chaotic.
It's chaotic over here in the background.
I guess I'm the 4th dot, the
hidden
dot.
4th dot that you don't necessarily see. But that's it. That's all. See you later. I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.